Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing some more Total War Warhammer 2 Battle Replays. And here, this one is sent in by Zachbsain, and he's playing as the Beastmen. And he's got a new trick up his sleeve, which I think is awesome. He's up against a vampire, Coast, and he's playing as Beastmen. And check out this back line of his. Chaos Spawn. A lot of Chaos Spawn. What is he thinking? They're going to get gunned down immediately. They have no armor, and just cheap gunnery mobs can just kill them all. Horrifically, they're not going to hold up against anything. Polearms are going to get the anti-large against them and just kill them all. It just seems like a terrible idea, but we'll see how it goes, because they don't half hit hard. So here you can see Morgan the Shadow gave as well, so that means another 2 lots of Chaos Spawn there. So that's 5 units of Chaos Spawn. Also, Brave Shaman of the Wild, so he has Devolve and Brace Scream, I believe. So he's going to be just hitting clumps of cheap stuff. There is so much here just to kill chaff, but also there's the Butchers of Kalkengard. They'll be able to deal with anything big because they have that regeneration, and usually the big units of the Vampire Coast are just big damage sponges. So that's great, and if they're damage dealers, they tend to not hold up very good against a lot of damage, and the Butchers of Kalkengard hit really hard. So it tends to work out pretty damn well. So yeah, love the Butchers of Kalkengard here, and Silver Shields as well. That's another huge thing for them. You know, they can't get focused down by guns so easily. So also here you can see some Centaurs. Good to have some backline harass that is that goddamn quick and immune to vigor. You know, they're not going to suffer any vigor loss, so they can really get stuck in and just cycle charge all day without getting tired, which is again brilliant with a faction that is so stubborn and will last for hours. You know, you want to be able to make sure vigor stays up. So here, plenty of Goreherd and Ungoreherd, Blackhorn's Ravagers as well. So a bunch of units just for bogging down and killing some of the chaff. More Centaurs on this side, and way back here, you can see there's a little group of Ungor Raiders. So nice to have some cheap missile fire, especially with Stalk. They can't get hurt until they're in range of something, basically, you know, which is lovely. So I really like that. I really like that. So his opponent. Lamprey's Revenge. Hate these guys. So they regenerate just like the Butchers of Kalkengard do. But they've got armor-piercing missile damage, armor-piercing missile strength, crazy high melee defense at 63, and 120 armor. They're just a nightmare to kill. So, yeah, that's going to hurt. Also here, you can see Depth Guard. Depth Guard will cut through any of the infantry without any problems. And actually, they can actually do a lot of work to Chaos Spawn as well, because Chaos Spawn have no armor, and Depth Guard have 70 weapon strength. Barely any armor piercing, but you don't need it against the Chaos Spawn, so that's very, very scary indeed. There's also a mortar back here, and some guns. Some just gunnery mobs, 1 handguns in case there is something a bit armoured, maybe a Gorble. Silostra Diaphan, which is awesome to see. So with Fog of the Damned, and there's that other one as well, Enthralling Song or something, Song of Enthrallment. They can lower melee attack, so really good to negate the Beastman's charges, you know, with these big melee attack debuffs. Really, really handy there. Plenty of polearms in here as well as deckhands. So just a bunch of chaff, and a pretty good back line with some very scary units in it. So let's speed things up and see how Zachbsain does. So immediately you can see the Blackhorn's Ravagers taking a lot of damage, but very nice. Was that the Viletide or the other one? I can never remember. That's Viletide. Brace Scream actually makes a big noise. So Viletide doing some good damage against the handguns there. Hasn't really killed many, but that's some good initial damage, so it will help them start crumbling soon. So over here, more Rotting Prometheans, and that is going to hurt. These guys have so much armor, and none of this stuff is armor piercing. So they will tie up this group for hours, and that immediately is a problem. So, units still poised to come in here. Brace Scream doing some damage to the Depth Guard. Doesn't kill any models, but it's helping to do some damage, and it means that they will start losing models quicker. Because the thing is, as soon as they get in melee, they're going to start regenerating. But they can't restore models while in combat. That's not how that works. It's only when they're in melee, they'll restore health. It won't bring any back from the dead. Again. So, you know, that's painful, right? So you want to do as much damage to them as possible, get them with charges, hit them at range, make sure that they're not in combat for long. But here, unfortunately, the Centaurs are getting really tied up in this. But over here, combination of these Ungoreherd and the Chaos Spawn, they are just pushing through this stuff so well. And with the Goreherd helping out, these polearms are getting ripped to shreds. And that's the beauty of this build, really, is the Chaos Spawn just hit very, very hard. They have very high weapon strength. So normally, when these units would last forever, they are actually getting chewed through pretty damn quickly. And that is rare. It's very difficult to do that. So although Chaos Spawn have a lot of weaknesses here, they're just brought for that 1 strength. And with a bunch of infantry backing them up, they're not taking as many hits. They can still do some work. Sadly, though, Damn Knights Errant being ethereal, they're going to be a nightmare to hurt. Might have to wait out the clock for them. Same with the bloody Rotting Prometheans that keep spawning. But these guys are holding out. Butchers of Kalkengard with their armor piercing. They are helping. And over here, Lamprey's Revenge are trying to move in. So, over here, Centaurs, they did get chased away and they're running back in. And here, Ungol Raiders all starting to shoot at whatever. But they need to spread out. They need to spread out. Another Vile Tide there doing some good work against the back line, which is very nice to see. But these guys need to spread out so they're not blocking each other's line of fire and they're not presenting themselves as a bigger target for mortars. They really need to spread out. That is the biggest thing here. They need to. So, a load of units starting to run, and sadly, these Depth Guard have got in. That's very painful. Here, Centaurs are being held back by the Lamprey's Revenge, and they're not Centaurs with great weapons, they're barely going to make a dent, and any dent they do make is going to replenish because the Lamprey's Revenge do regenerate. So, real problem in the back line, you know, with a lot of things here. But, the front line's doing pretty well. You know, Silostra is in a lot of trouble. Her Rotting Promethean she keeps summoning, just keep getting killed. You know, eventually, they are getting worn down, and just not enough damage is being done to the Beastmen here. Sure, on the edges, a lot of things are getting hit, but this pocket is surviving. They're all big units, and a lot of the back line has been compromised. So here, you can see the Lamprey's Revenge are charging in, with the Depth Guard in here as well. They'll be able to deal with most of this stuff. Butchers of Kalkengard trying to chase down Silostra, and the Centaurs trying to pin her in place. But again, these guys have to spread out. They are all going to be blocking each other. You can see one of them is obscured. There we go, he's obstructed. These Ungol Raiders can't shoot. Okay, now they can. See, they can't make up their mind because it's a massive blob. You just need to spread them out so they can be most effective. Because that is a real shame. That is a real shame. And, gotta get rid of those Depth Guard. If those Depth Guard are dead, these Chaos Spawn and the Ungols can kill everything else. Just kill these Depth Guard. They're so expensive, so vital, and they will hurt in the end. But here you can see Butchers of Kalkengard and the Bray Shaman chasing down Silostra, but annoyingly, Lamprey's Revenge are charging in with the Depth Guard as well, and the Butchers of Kalkengard don't have a huge amount of armor at 45, so the Depth Guard will do some really good damage to them. And with Fog of the Damned lowering melee attack, these guys can't fight back, and if they can't fight back, the Depth Guard just going to be replenishing. They're still on 44 models. That's the crazy thing. Oh, 43. They are losing a few, but barely any. But here, nice little Vile Tide, doing some good work there, doing some good damage. But if these guys can't hit, they can't kill models, and they have to. But front line, yeah, things are going quite well. You know, these Chaos Spawns somehow are still going. There's barely any left. Ungors, they're all still going in the back, and they can start shooting things down. Over here, Butchers of Kalkengard decided they don't want to stay in this fight, because Fog of the Damned, they're just not useful. So they might as well run out, and as they're doing so, they're going to be replenishing their health. You know, they're going to be regenerating as they go. So they may as well help shut down this. So that spell sort of got wasted, but honestly, it was still pretty useful. That Bray Shaman being terrified away is pretty crippling, so that's not ideal. But over here, a bunch of units charging in, so Butchers of Kalkengard getting a lovely rear charge of the Depth Guard, and they're starting to crumble. It is great to shut these guys down because they've got, 100 kills. Ah, such a shame they managed to, you know, remain alive for that long. These guys also over 100. So very scary stuff. Silostra has managed to stay alive, which is very impressive. And now there's just a torrent of units just heading for all these Ungor herd. And some of them are going to get hit here. Pretty hard, I think. But as long as some of them can survive, they can still put in that withering fire. So over here, Centaurs tying up Silostra again. And the Butchers of Kalkengard are actually moving up and around. Over here, I believe, yep, Fog of the Damned again, limiting their ability to fight, and with the Depth Guard, you know, just behaving as they do, right? They will replenish their health in combat, and if they're not taking any damage in combat because the enemy can't hit them, they're just getting free health here while murdering everything. Look at the amount of stuff starting to flee there. That is brutal, because it does lower leadership as well. That's a beautiful thing against the Beastmen, to be able to lower leadership and melee attack. But anyway, archers start to shoot in, and Butchers of Kalkengard still in this fight, but there's still a bunch of the Lamprey's Revenge back here. The Icon might be over here, but most of them are here fighting the Butchers of Kalkengard. Now the Song of Enthrallment, slowing them down, allowing them to be chased, and lowering their melee attack. That's very painful. So, another Bray Scream there, and the Depth Guard have almost been dealt with, which is amazing. Suddenly things have turned around for them, which is great. That is very good, but 141 kills is very scary. So now it's Silostra and the nigh invincible Lamprey's Revenge. So big old damage sponge is Silostra, but no Law of Vampires, so there's no healing, you know. So this will add up. This will really add up. And you can see it is. Look at the damage he's taking. Big old target. Health is really starting to suffer. And Butchers of Kalkengard are charging in again. But Lamprey's Revenge are doing what they can. Morga sat fighting the Depth Guard. There's very few left, but that's actually pretty dangerous with Morga. I mean, Morga does regenerate too, but you don't want to be fighting something with just nothing but weapon strength, like the Depth Guard, you know? So over here, another Fog of the Damned. Another one. This is insane. This is insane. Only 17 melee attack now for the Butcher's Calc Guard. Very difficult to get over that 42 melee defense. But she has such little health left. So it looks like they're staying in there, you know. Looks like they're staying in, doing what they can. More guys start to run in now. God, this is brutal. This is brutal. So, archers are back. And that's the thing. He doesn't have the units anymore. You know, the Vampire Coast don't have the units to keep chasing off anything that they terrify away. It's just going to come back and start attacking again. You know, there's no follow-up here anymore. So, Fog of the Damned is worn out, and now 43 melee attack again. They can start getting some hits in, and that is Silostra dead. And now Morga poisoning Lamprey's Revenge. Butcher's the Calc Guard still putting in some good damage, but they are definitely struggling. But with the loss of their leader, suddenly Lamprey's Revengers don't have the leadership anymore, so they're starting to crumble. All of this additional fire coming in, just helping their health get ticked down. They're still regenerating, but they're also losing their health. It's a bit mad. And oh my god, they've actually rallied. That is sort of absurd. But they're taking a lot of damage. Okay, crumbling, and now they're not crumbling. Make up your mind, guys. Are you losing or not? What do you reckon? But anyway, now they're crumbling again. I wonder for how long. I wonder for how long. But it's just a matter of time. You know, Butcher the Calc Guard aren't taking enough damage here. They're just not taking enough damage from the Lamprey's Revenge to really be fussed. You know, they're still in there with that massive armor-piercing weapon strength, getting some great work in. So it's only a matter of time before Lamprey's Revenge call it quits, I think. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So yeah, great game, and pretty unconventional. Pretty unconventional. Very surprised by that. So yeah, hit by a tree. That's who he was playing. Sorry, I tried to remember that and totally forgot it. But yeah, nicely done here, I think. This is a really nice build, I think, against the Beastmen. It has all the tools you need to fight off most Beastmen's stuff. Right, so, you know, you've got great solutions with the mortar for dealing with sort of like bestigors or anything heavy, but that's rare. But otherwise, you can get that backline harassed, you know, hitting any Ungor raiders, doing mad damage to them, because mortars are actually pretty damn effective. You don't really need cannons when you've got things like handguns or gunnery mobs. Like, cannons don't have time to shoot much, so you don't really need them. Things like the Lamprey's Revenge are just so stocky, they are so hard to kill. You've got to go all in with like Minotaurs to kill them, and Minotaurs are a great target for all the guns. But that's the thing, bring a bunch of Chaos Spawn, these guys are weirdly effective. They help the front line out so much. Sure, they'll take a lot of damage, but they're doing so much damage. Look at this, hundreds of kills, and that's just the 3 we can see. The other 2, who knows how much, you know, work they got done. And it just helps cut through the chaff, and Vampire Coast can't really do anything once all of their sort of chaff has been dealt with. Once all of these cheap units, all of these roadblocks have been dealt with, everything else just becomes a much easier target. So, presenting an easy target that can wipe out all of the chaff, it's a weird strategy, but it seems to work, because there were definitely, you know, I hate to say it, Zach, but there were some mistakes there, I think. There was definitely some maneuvers that weren't quite right there. You know, just having the Ungor raiders sat on top of each other was a problem. You know, staying in those sort of fogs of the damned and things like that for far too long before deciding to retreat. Things like that, you know, not targeting depth guard. I think there were some things there that could have streamlined the process somewhat. But even then, this build really works. You know, the Chaos Spawn were wonderful here, and that is so unconventional. I was not expecting it at all. As soon as I saw this build, I thought, oh, well, he's dead. No, this worked out great. I'm very surprised how effective this this strategy is. So, absolutely wonderful. So, guys, I hope you learned something here. If you did, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.